Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Denise from Microdose U, and I will continue to say Happy New Year, at least for a little while. We are after the holidays and into the new year, and we are continuing, Dr. Dave and I are continuing the series on microdosing and women's health. And so this is the next episode of that. And there's a lot of exciting things coming in 2026. There's some research on microdosing and timing of cycle within the menstrual cycle. And there's some new research on, there's a research study, actually, they haven't started it, but they got approval to look at timed microdosing of LSD to help with PMS and other symptoms connected to the cycle. And as you've heard me talk about, the menstrual cycle timed microdosing is going to be very different than for women that are in perimenopause and menopause. And there's reasons for that. The changes in estrogen and progesterone during the monthly cycle for a menstruating woman is very different than when we actually have a permanent drop and kind of extreme changes that start to happen in perimenopause and menopause. So that's why it seems that it's going to be different, because it truly is going to be different to time these cyclical changes with the menstrual cycle, as opposed to once things start to shift in perimenopause and menopause. So we'll continue to talk about that and look at that. And the LSD study I'm very excited about, even though it hasn't started, because it's approved, and we'll be looking forward to where that study goes and what it begins to show in terms of time cyclical microdosing. So that's coming in this year, 2026. So I wanted to come on today and do a brief episode here to speak specifically about one issue that I've gotten a lot of questions on lately, which I myself personally was just still actually dealing with, which is women's health and the holiday season and the cold and flu season, and what to do about that as far as using, microdosing these medicines. So I will say, of course, everybody is different. I unfortunately am still recovering in my third week of the flu here, and out of an abundance of caution, I have stopped microdosing. And the reason for that is twofold. One, I'm not going to lose anything in taking a pause in microdosing while my body, I'm thankfully out of the real symptoms and fever and all of that. I'm post-viral, not contagious, but this flu is lingering. Some of what we've been reading about with this flu A turns out to be true, that it can linger, for several weeks. So I myself have decided not to microdose because, like I said, twofold. One is I'm not going to lose anything in my overall goals for my microdosing, for healing any physical, psychological issues. We don't lose anything. So whether you're stopping to just take a break, or like Dr. Dave, when he traveled to Japan, you're not going to lose any ground. That's the whole difference between microdosing these psychedelic medicines and what we refer to as more conventional medicines. It works even when you don't take it, meaning it's overall rewiring and healing. And when you stop taking the medicines, whether you pause or you just decide to stop, you are not losing anything. You do not have to continue to microdose to maintain. So there isn't a maintenance that's necessary. Unlike some conventional medicines, if you're feverish, which I just had some high fevers, the Tylenol, the ibuprofen is only going to work when I take it. I'm not helping my flu recovery by taking the Tylenol, for example, or the ibuprofen. That's really symptom reduction. There is some thought that keeping fever at, was very high. I'll let a low fever go because that helps us with healing. But once it starts to get over 100, 101, 102, which I did start to get up to, that does not help us. So we really do need to medicate that and bring down those fevers. Of course, as we always say, follow the medical advice of your doctor. This is, what I did, and often what tends to be the trend with a higher fever to sort of watch that, because it can really get in the way of healing. It can lead to a lot of discomfort. It's very unpleasant to have a high fever. You can get dehydrated, and inflammation's going to stay up there. So reducing the fever kind of will help that recovery. But again, unlike microdosing psychedelics, taking certain medicines such as like an ibuprofen or acetaminophen, Tylenol, um, is not going to lead to healing, so to speak. It's going to work when you take it. So that's how those kinds of a lot of medicines will work. Psychedelics are different. Psychedelics are going to work even when you're not taking it, when you're not dosing. So I have not dosed here for a bit because I'm in like week 3 actually of this flu, and residual, I'll call it post flu, post viral illness, more residual symptoms now, where I still have fatigue, I'm still coughing a bit. My energy is kind of low. So I'm going to continue not to microdose. Like I said, 2 particular points. One, I'm not going to lose anything in my healing. And then the second basic category of why one might not microdose during an active illness such as flu, a cold, something like COVID, something of that nature, is because it really can. There is some thought that there's anti-inflammatory, well, there's a lot of thought to anti-inflammatory nature of psychedelics. That's not going to really be the case with a symptomatic cold or a flu. That's more looking at kind of overall inflammation, like I have a little arthritis, that's going to help. It's not talking about kind of a temporary inflammation of the immune system activity to heal flu or cold. So that's why that sort of whole anti-inflammatory part of psychedelics is not going to apply when you have immune system inflammation due to cold or flu. The other points are that during cold or flu, the tendency to become dehydrated is greater. And so we know that psychedelics have a little bit of a dehydration component to them. So it's always wise all the time, it's wise to stay very hydrated, particularly if you're dealing, they say with cold and flu, of course, lots of liquids, lots of rest. I was told to aggressively rest, meaning even if I wasn't tired, to literally lay around and do nothing. I have to say I've been enjoying doing that. Even though it was the holidays, I was really following my own advice that less is more, and I didn't have to do anything. I really could just do nothing, because the old idea, it's holidays, you should be celebrating, have New Year's Eve, whatever celebration. That isn't necessarily the case, and it certainly didn't fit for me. So that is why I rested and did a whole lot of nothing, watching whatever on television, ball drop, go to nap, get up, go back, lots of fluids. So during an active flu and cold, we want to watch anything that's going to reduce the level of hydration, because really hydrating is so very important. There is some thought to psychedelics maybe temporarily increasing body temperature. And of course, obviously, you don't want to do that when you're dealing with colds and flu. Yes, a mild fever, 99-ish or so, can help our T cells activate and help us fight things like cold and flu and infection. But you don't want to do that with the addition of psychedelics. So I would say that out of an abundance of caution, that you wait until you are several weeks past. For the average person, probably 10 days past any fevers, any symptoms. If there's some residual coughing, but your energy's good and you don't have congestion and all of that, and everything seems fine, you're probably, again, follow your doctor's advice, but you're probably okay to microdose. I myself, because I still seem to be, the lung irritation was pretty deep with this flu. I do not have any bronchitis or anything like that, but it's sort of like a sunburn on the inside, so things are a little more irritated. I went outside for a moment. I could immediately feel that cold air irritate the lungs, and I started to cough. I'm not in pain. I don't feel sickly, um, but there's a little bit of irritation. So while my body is still clearing these residual effects, and my energy's better, but not 100%, I'm not going to microdose. I'm going to continue to do all the things that I do alongside microdosing, setting intentions. Every day I say, may I be well. I trust my immune system, staying very well hydrated. My appetite is better, but it's still not fully returned. So for myself, I really think I'm looking more at that 3, maybe even 4 or 5 week mark. To just make sure those residual symptoms are totally resolved. So I'll know that because my appetite will be back 100%, my energy, I won't fatigue as quickly, and I'll know that I can return to my normal microdosing. So that is what I'm going to do. And like I said, as out of an abundance of caution, I would say that it's probably good advice to follow suit. And again, you're not going to lose anything in taking a pause in your microdosing. So I wish everyone a very healthy, energized, happy beginning to 2026. All great things are coming at Microdose U. Certainly, always check the show notes. Join the Patreon. We have the live, pretty much around the clock WhatsApp conversation where you can get a lot of your questions answered. And we have live meetings every week or every other week, which is really terrific way to also feel connected and get questions answered. Of course, we have our, coaching, and just go to Microdose U and you click under coaching, and you'll see that you can work with us directly. You can work with me directly. Dr. Dave and I work together one-on-one in a very confidential way to help you really sort of target and dial in exactly what is going to be specific for you in healing your goals for this coming year. So we are here for you, and I look forward to seeing you again. I'll be back to continue with the Microdose U and Women's Health Series and psychedelics. I look forward to that, everyone, and I'll see you real soon.